That movie just wasn't good, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and just give you my honest thoughts on what I thought about the MK2 movie and what they did right and what they did wrong. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen the movie or if you're planning on going to see the movie, I'm gonna let you know ahead of time that off rip that it is mostly for the fans. But yeah, if you don't want any spoilers, bro, go ahead and click off right now because I'm about to really go ahead and just put the nail in the coffin. Start off with the bad. I'm gonna start off with the bad, right? And then I'm gonna talk about the good. So bad, right? In the beginning of the movie, right? It started off very, 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 very slow, right? And they did a thing where they basically pulled a FNAF where they pretty much expect you to basically know everything about everything that's a part of the game, and they're putting it in the movie and they're just expecting their audience to know exactly. So it was really more so for the die-hard fans, right? And you didn't even really have to be a die-hard fan. As long as you're like an MK fan, like you know like the back lore between like the original timeline, you're good, you're all set, you know. As far as the fighting scenes go, and then also I was gonna talk about the bad, but I'm all over the place. As far as the fighting scenes go, though, I really liked the way they executed the fighting scenes. Now the fatalities in the movie, guys, except for one or two, which I'm not gonna explain which one they were, but like one or two fatalities, right, were really good. The rest of the fatalities in the movie, guys, were either copy and paste or absolute dog shit. Like, and I'll give an example here, right? There was a scene where Shao Kahn basically performed a fatality, right? And you saw the same fatality 3 to 4 to 5 different times on the screen, bro. And it sucks because it's like, dude, this guy has 20 different fatalities on 20 different occasions in 20 different fucking games. And you couldn't put not one of those from the game inside the movie. Like, that, to me, that was just like extremely disappointing. And he was on screen for like majority of the movie, right? Secondly, the guy that played Kano, the guy that played his role in Kano, bro, phenomenal job. You know, I'm not a big fan of Kano at all in any of the games, but the guy that played that character inside that movie, dude, did a phenomenal fucking job, right? Like, he literally single-handedly carried that movie. You know, like how like certain characters in like TV shows carry? Yeah, he did that shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the audience was literally falling asleep inside of the theater. But the second Kano popped up, bro, and started like cracking jokes and shit, it brought the audience back to life inside of the theater. Another thing I'm gonna go ahead and mention, bro, there was an Easter egg, right, for Ed Boon, and nobody cared, like, at all. It was like, I literally heard the entire theater go silent the second Ed Boon hopped on screen, right? I don't know if it was because of the pacing or what, but or maybe it was bad timing. I don't know. But the second Buddy got hopped on screen, dude, it was just like, this theater was dead ass silent. Like, people were like, okay, here we go. You know, it was like one of those things. So there was that. Okay. And then Johnny Cage, bro. Man, oh my god. Who's basically supposed to be like, I guess, the main character inside the movie. And I hate to shit on this movie like the way that I am, bro, but it just, the pacing of the movie, guys, and then some of the acting was just like some of the worst acting that I have like seen. It didn't feel like a Hollywood production movie. It felt like a YouTube movie, you know. Like, it was very you could tell it was very low budgeted for a lot of the scenes, and it kind of felt like one film team worked on like one half, and you could like tell, like, from just watching the pacing, it looked like one team did something and then another team did something, right? So it felt like they had two different teams working on this movie. I don't know if that was the case or not, but that's just what it felt like, honestly. Now the Kung Lao and the Liu Kang fight. I want to go ahead and talk about that because I want some positives in this video for sure. Right? There were some positives in this movie, right? And mind you, if you are a die-hard Mortal Kombat fan, you should definitely go and see this movie, right? If you like seeing your favorite character on screen, that's basically what this movie was for. That's basically what this movie was about. Hold on, there's a giant fucking spider on my wall. My bad. That spider was absolutely huge, bro. Like, no, I wasn't dealing with that. But yeah, that Liu Kang versus Kung Lao fight, bro. That fight was amazing, right? To say the least. Like, that was top tier cinema. If I seen MK on the screen like ever, right? That entire fight should have been the pacing of the entire movie, but we never got anything else like that throughout the entire movie, except for in the end, where once again, spoiler alert, Katana ended up fighting Shao Kahn, right? Other than that, those two fights, bro, like, those were the only like solid fights inside of the movie. Right? The other fighting scenes were okay, but those two fights are what actually felt like MK. Other than that, I didn't see MK on screen, honestly. Between the fatalities, which were subpar, you know, they were fatalities, don't get me wrong, but they weren't as brutal as like something that you would see on the game. They weren't as creative as, you know, they would normally be. And it just kind of like begged the question: Am I watching Mortal Kombat, right? Or am I like, what are we watching here? You know? So that I guess that left a lot of the audience kind of like feeling dull at the end, right? You know, of course it came to a satisfying conclusion at the end. You know, they wrap it up in like a nice little bow or whatever, but the movie just didn't feel like an MK movie. For the majority of the movie, there was only like 2 scenes where it actually felt like MK, right? And I hate to be this guy, bro. I really do. Like, and I don't want to come in here and like shit talk this movie. Like, if anything, I wanted to come on here and give it a solid review, right? Because the trailer, it looked really good. You know I said a lot of bad things about the posters and all this shit, but as far as like execution goes, bro, and as far as the movie itself goes, in the most anticipated fight that was inside the movie, which was the Noob Saibot versus Hanzo Hasashi, it didn't feel like that shit was executed the way it was supposed to. You know, like in the first movie, right, when Hanzo Hasashi ended up fighting Bihan, right, and we saw that scene on screen, amazing, right? 100% amazing. With this one though, I don't know, man. Like, there was some cool parts inside the scene, there were, but it didn't feel like Hanzo versus Bihan, right? I didn't feel the vengeance. I didn't feel, you know, like he was really mad for real. If I'm being honest, it was just like, yeah, Bihan's still alive. And Scorpion was like, he's still alive? Yeah, he's still alive. I gotta go find him. That's basically what it felt like, bro. It didn't feel like he was out to seek revenge anymore. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe it was just the pacing. Maybe it was the pacing. Like I said, once again, it didn't really feel like a movie. It felt more so like, okay, you know, talk. Here's a fighting scene. Talk. Here's a fighting scene again. Guys, this is Mortal Kombat. But that's pretty much all I got, man. So, yeah.